Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Club Pro Chatter, Episode 2, Season 4. Club Pro Chatter is brought to you by the Minnesota section and the PGA. And we are fortunate enough again to have co-host Scotty McDonald on. We'll be bringing on Tone and Kailey as we move forward. Scotty, good to see you again. I see that you're hanging out up in the Alexandria area.
Yeah, had to bring a load of stuff up here. So I figured there's pretty good Wi-Fi at MGC. So I figured I'd stop here, maybe play a little golf later. Beautiful day. Did you guys are open? How was the holiday weekend? Busy?
Unbelievable. I actually had somebody ask me, hey, did you have a good Easter? And I looked at him, Scotty, and I said, well, I never really have to work on Easter, but this year, because it was 75 and sunny, so we had 150 rounds on Saturday. X amount through the till, which was ridiculous. Yesterday, we had 128 players, which we didn't have really anything until 2 o'clock because of Easter. So these just bonus land, and it goes back to what you said on the last podcast, is that COVID has really helped these things out. And the momentum that golf has, Scotty, is not slowing down in Olivia. And I don't know, what's it looking like up at the Wask area? Are they pumping the rounds this weekend?
Yeah. I just talked to Casey. Ridiculously good. April's, I think you and I would attest the past. Obviously, weather dictates a lot, but even if it was nice on a holiday weekend like Easter, there would be, 50, 60 players max, not 120 on an Easter Sunday, right? So it's a little bit weather, but I think the early trend is showing you right now that there's no shortage of demand for golf.
No, I think we're going to be having another good year, and who knows how long it'll last, but we'll see. First apology comes from me, Scotty. I want to apologize to Bryson. I should not over the air call him DeChumbo. That was a little derogatory, it sounded like. I can call him that behind and back channels maybe when you and I are chatting, but should not have done that over the airwaves here. And so I apologize to him because actually I got him as one of my favorites this weekend in the Masters, but we'll talk about that later. I've got some stuff for that for you and Tone that we're going to have some fun with. But I just needed to apologize to him for that. What do you got, Scotty?
Well, so we're not sticking with you're telling me what I have to apologize for.
Oh, that was just one time. I just wanted to do that one time. Look at how much normaler you are again. So you don't have any slicked over hair. You didn't put any gel in. You're fairly well shaven, but you're kind of back to Scotty. You look good. You look like you belong up there at the Waska area. And I'm glad that Casey is embracing you to let you use the office.
Thanks. The rent's pretty steep here for the hour show. So we got to keep it under an hour. I guess my apology is, I don't know if it's an apology, but maybe it's for everybody that wrote off Jordan Spieth, that, apologize to all those people that thought he was done, because clearly he is not. Look at what he's done this spring. Look at what the putter, which was his strong suit all through that stretch when he was on fire. Look at yesterday. What was it? I think 12 one putts, something ridiculous like that. So it was fun to watch. He always makes it interesting, even when he's laying up on 18 with a 2-shot lead. He pull hooks it, and then he short sides himself with a wedge and hits it in there. And so my apology is to all those people that were hoping that Jordan was done, because clearly he isn't. And you got to put him in the top 5 favorites at Augusta, where his track record is super strong, don't you? We can talk about that later. Yeah,
for sure. But that was kind of more like an "I told you so" segment from you, because last week last podcast, you kind of called it with Jordan Spieth resurgence. When I listened back, I'm like, ooh, Nostradamus Scotty kind of had that going. So good work by you, buddy. I think the next one that we'll talk about in those regards will be Ricky Fowler, because he's kind of in that population right now of where'd you go? What's going on? But golf is hard, Scott. It happens to all of us. Look at me at the NCO this year.
You did not defend your title, did you?
Sometimes we just disappear. The driver gets wayward, and then all of a sudden you're done. So, that is what it is. So let's bring in Kailey Ekstrom, state of the section. Kailey probably wants to stay off. She's not feeling the greatest, but she is a trooper. She came in She is at home, but she's going to give us some stuff. So Kailey, give us the state of the section.
Yeah, so first of all, our event registration is open for the Minnesota PGA. That includes all of our tournaments, and in our junior space, the tournament selection process is happening. And so if you're a junior tour member, mini tour member, prep tour member, you have until April 30th to make your event selections.
Scotty, with all that money you're making, how many did you register in?
For our events?
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff to register. I mean, Kailey's right. I looked through there. You can register in like 30 different events, it felt like. How many did you sign up for?
I like to start slow. I registered for the tape mark. I registered for Luther 1. I registered for the match play. And I'm probably going to register for the Twin Cities Open.
Nice.
It sounds like...
you aren't in that one yet.
No, I just wanted to see how the event was going to be structured with regards to Player of the Year points. Julie is still working every day, so it's going to be a tough stretch, match play, and then Twin Cities Open back to back. But I'm very hopeful that I'll be able to do both. Yeah. So,
well, I got.
Go ahead.
I got signed up in a couple myself. I signed up for Luther number 2, was one of my first ones because I know I'm playing at the Wilds on that one. And then Twin Cities Open, I jumped on when we were in California because we talked about it a little bit. So I jumped all over that deal. And I got the same thing as you. There's some calendar issues, but yeah, that's good stuff, Kailey. What else you got?
Yeah, so I was going to mention the Twin Cities Open. I'm glad you two did that. And that we are also looking, though, for more PGA pros for our 100 Holes of Hope on June 17th. Our PGA pros playing 100 holes to raise money for Hope programs in our PGA Reach Minnesota. We're looking for more people to come out and join us.
Kailey, who do you got right now? Because I want to give them a shout out. You got any registered right now of our guys?
Yeah, we do have a couple, and one is included here.
Scotty?
Mr. Scotty, yep. So we're just working through, getting more people involved and more knowledge about the event to bid with our pros for how many birdies they make during the 100-hole day.
Did Tim Anderson sign up?
I'm not sure. I can verify with Catherine.
Okay, get that one. How
I
about
heard
Gary
you
Lockett?
might come on.
Oh, I'll be there for sure. I make birdies like nothing, Scotty, right? And those?
Yeah. I think Greg has the course record for 100 holes. Actually,
killed it, Kailey.
60. Greg shot 65, and actually, we played real golf where he finished it. Is that like your best round in the last 10 years?
Well, Scotty, before that, during the 100 holes, I shot 62 in one of the segments, but that's where anything within a flag stick is good.
Yeah.
And I
H2P.
Yeah, H2P. And Kailey, I shot 62 in that format.
That is wonderful. I love it.
Killed it. It was
I just love it.
Yeah, and then Scotty and I played real golf on our last 18 of the 100. And yeah, I chipped in for eagle on the last to shoot 65, right, Scotty?
Legit 65, putted everything
Beautiful.
out. And I want to say we probably played in an hour and 10 minutes, G.
Yeah, we didn't run like Huffman and Bakken, Huffman, Anderson and
Huffman can't run.
No. All right, Kailey, I'm signed up. Put me on the list.
Good. My last thing here, quick, is that the tape mark this year is the 50th annual tape mark down at Southview. So a big year to celebrate a lot of really cool things that have happened in the past 50 years.
So I heard kind of just through the grapevine that a really cool tee gift. I don't know what it is, but commemorative for 50 years.
Yeah.
I also heard that we're working on getting Tom Lehman back to play in the tape mark. Is that true? No, that's fake news. I made that up. I'm sorry.
Let's go with it.
Let's go with it.
But
June 11th and 13th.
That's one of the great stories to me about the tape mark is Lehman's game was pretty much down and out. He tried every single tour, and he credits the tape mark win with kind of giving him the confidence to make that run. And then, 4 years later, he was #1 player in the world. So very cool story. Eric Van Rooyen, who played in the tape mark, he's out. He'll be playing at Augusta this week. So some really cool stories from over the years. 50 years, crazy.
Yep.
Well, Kailey, I'm not totally committed to Tape Mark. I've got a mess that weekend. I've got 2 grad parties and a big tournament on that Saturday. We talked about it the last podcast, but at our next one, keep bringing it up. I'll try. I mean, it's
The tea
something that's
gift
on
is
my
going to
list.
be really cool. I
Oh,
can say
boy.
that.
You guys, stop with your little teasers. All right. Scotty doesn't need tea gift. He makes so much money, Kailey, it doesn't even matter.
What are you talking about? Come on now. No, I'm excited. I'm signed up, and actually the team that I played with last year that sponsored, we're back again, signed up. So it sounds like sign-ups going well. Greg, I think you should get on that soon, make that decision, that commitment. Your June's getting busier with the tape marking now 100 holes.
And then I got the KWLM Pro-Am on the 14th.
Yes.
You know, at Wilmer here. So it is not to say I can't do it. I got a lovely wife who's out helping me right now. She's semi-supportive of some. All right, Kailey, what else you got for us?
That was it. That's all I had for today.
All right, you get healthy, vitamin C. Make sure that everything's on the up and up, and that's the beauty of working at home now, right? You can keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
Chicken noodle soup.
Yeah. Sounds pretty good.
I like the rest part.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
see
match.
you, Kailey.
Let's match play recap, Scotty. I love the match play. I love the event. I love the golf course that they played at, on the PGA Tour there with Austin Country Club. We were going to go down there, be really close to that area. I would like to get it back on the NCO list at some point, but I'm trying to talk Jack into going to Lake of the Ozarks next year.
Ooh, I'd be up for that. That seems like it's kind of the new golf hotspot.
And it's drivable. It's drivable for us, because we have some guys in our group that they wouldn't mind that. So I'm going to talk to Jack, but I have some observations about the match play event that I'd like to go over with you. Is there anything that jumps out at you that you want to chat about there, or do you want me to just dive into some things?
No, I'd just say that, it's the one thing that we've learned about this, the match play that's changed formats, what they changed probably 4 or 5 years ago when they switched to the pods. Yep. And I like that. That way somebody doesn't come and they lose right away. See you later. But there was also some fun things with those big upsets in the first round, I think. So, but the only thing I'll say is somehow, some way, I was way at the bottom in fantasy golf, and I picked Billy Horschel to win the match play, which is like a total shot in the dark. And lo and behold, he won. So
you nailed that.
Yeah. So that was pretty fun to watch. And when we did a distance seminar last week, speed, and talked about speed and all this, and we've talked about it with Bryson last week. And look at who were the finalists. The semifinalists were Billy Horschel, Kuchar, Victor Perez, right? And Scheffler. Scheffler was the only one in the top 125 in driver distance. So maybe not as important at obviously Austin Country Club or in match play. It's all about putting.
We talked about this at the last podcast, Scotty. We hit it pretty good about people loving that distance factor. And you got these events where it's just not holding true all the time. And Corey Pavin way back when kind of proved that it doesn't, might be an advantage, but Austin was playing fast. They always have things set up quick, but they have drivable par fours where if you're in the wrong spot, the greens kind of made it difficult. Even at 550 yards, it seemed like most of those guys were getting home in 2 on a lot of the, even the one that's uphill. Yeah. So I'm with you. I have a couple observations. I was going to ask you about the pool play versus one and done. I'm okay with it. I don't have a preference one way or the other. I do understand that you're not going to get the top guys because of that. But Justin Thomas was there. DJ was there. Rahm was there. They did pretty good of getting some top guys. I heard a lot of criticisms about the play in the final match. And I don't think, Scotty, people understand what wind does to golfers, even at that level. Why don't you break down for us that variable for everybody and how that affects good golfers more than, say, even rain or more than rough? It just, what does wind do to you, Scotty, in your game versus when you're playing on a calm day?
Yeah, it's a very good point. You can't hit any type of shot, right? You can't hit the high one. You can't hit the low one. Sometimes if you've got a go-to shot, you might not be able to hit it because of the wind. If the wind's whipping off the right and you got a pin on the left, you're not, and there's water left, you're not going to start it out over the water and try to cut it back in. I mean, you have to play it to kind of ride with the wind. So I think it handcuffs you a little bit. You can't be as aggressive because there's also the element of the unknown. Is sure, we know more times than not where the wind is, but we don't know how much it's going to affect it, right? If we get a 25 mile an hour gust when it's been 10 to 12 the whole time and we play it to the middle of the green, it gusts up, we might be on the front. And if it's a false front, it slides back. So I think it's just, you can't be as aggressive because there is that little bit of unknown. If you got a perfect lie and there's no wind and there's a pin right in the middle or front left even, you can get aggressive because you know the shot you're going to hit. So that's what I'd say.
Yeah, I like what you said that there of sometimes we stand over a shot and we say low draw, high cut, high draw, low cut. You have options and you can kind of visualize your shot. Sometimes you have a wind that says, well, I don't have that shot, or I can't hit that. And I remember the one Billy Horschel hit a little low skanker down by Scotty Scheffler. And what wind does, it creates indecision in your mind. And the commitment over the ball, I hear many caddies say all the time of 100% committed. You got to be 100% committed. If you're 90% committed, you're basically 0% committed. And, for you and I in our games, we know how true that is of, man, if I stand over a shot and I'm not sure how I'm going to, even attack it, it's like kind of, let's see what happens here as I come through. Yeah, nothing good really tends to happen. So I just want to throw it out there to everybody that wind is the ultimate variable. I believe it's why I won the 17th annual NCO down in Dike, Iowa, is because we played in some severe winds, Scotty, and I was mentally in a good place to accept that and know that you don't have to shoot 3, 4, 5 under par in our group. You shoot 77, you're okay, because wind does that. So anybody who is down on the PGA play, they need to understand how hard golf is when wind is up.
No, I agree. It's and these are some of the best players in the world. So just see how it affects them. It's fun to see when a guy's on his ball striking and they hit unbelievable shots in the wind, because we know how difficult it is as just normal golfers. So it's fun to see that when a guy's really got it going. And those are the days when somebody's hitting it well and they shoot like 7 under and nobody else is within 5 shots.
Right.
Because they've just got the ball striking dialed in. That's fun to see versus first round of every tournament where everybody goes 6 to 8 under because it's a perfect day and the course is set up perfect. So
Dan Sudebeck had one of those rounds, Scotty, down at the Jewel, and everybody was at, the leaders were at 2 over, 3 over, 4 over, and Dan shot like 5 or 6 under. And we were like, what golf course were you playing out there that we weren't?
Yeah.
And he just had the stripe show going, to play that, and was making some putts. Next question for you, buddy. So you got a guy that comes up to you. Let's say that you're giving him a lesson. He says, what about that Scotty Scheffler footwork? What do you do with that as a teaching pro when you go, well, it's not how we teach it, but I mean, look at the guy. He has the results, and the footwork is it's just amazing to me that the guy can even make contact with some of the things that he does. So does that come out to you as how does this happen? Or do you just say, these guys are so talented, it doesn't matter what they do?
Well, I've never been called, they've never said that I have the perfect golf swing. Yeah. And I've been working a lot.
Footwork too.
Yeah. And I just pulled up Scheffler's swing again, and to see how much those feet move, it's absolutely unbelievable. But it's all about impact. And what does it matter if he's floating when he hits the ball, or as long as it's consistent? That's the key. So I've never been one to judge how the golf swing looks. It's all about impact. So There's a million ways to skin a cat, and there's been a million different golf swings out on tour. Sure, there's the Justin Thomases or whoever, Louis Oosthuizens that people look at and they're like, that's a great golf swing. But
Right.
there's for every one there is like that, there's also another where you're like, but what about this? What about, look at Bubba, look how he does it. Another swing that people are like, y'all, he finishes like this but he finishes in some of the weirdest ways, the highest hands or whatever it is, but he's got 2 green jackets and there's not many people that have even one of those. So
Scotty, what I love about it is that it makes people like me who don't teach a lot of golf kind of sit back and go, guys, there's way more than one way to skin a cat here. I mean, there's a lot of different ways, but you nailed it. As I always say, what is it here at the ball?
Yeah.
What happens here? We got to get you here. And if you want to hit a fade, we got to get you here. If you want to hit a hook, we got to get, that's what we got to get you to. And that's hard because everybody's built differently. Everybody's shaped differently. You're right. For guys like me, I sit back and I go, I don't have any great answers as to why he's so good at what he does, other than that they're just ultra talented and that the Lord gifted them with a little bit more ability than some of us. So
yes.
If you didn't pick Billy Horschel, would you have cheered for him?
I don't mind him. He's not my favorite. I will. The reason I picked him was, other than the experts, the power list, which is their power rankings, which I always go to for fantasy, but he's a grinder. He's a bulldog. And that's where I was like, I don't want to waste a pick on a DJ or a Rory because match play is such an unknown. So I'm like, let's pick somebody that's a grinder that is not going to give away holes. And that's what Billy said even in his interview after I think he beat Fleetwood to get to the semis. I watched, he's like, my goal this week was just to not give away any golf holes. And we've done that pretty well. And there he ends up winning it. So.
Well, that's good stuff. All right, let's move on to our Knowing the Rules. We're going to bring Tone in. Knowing the Rules brought to you by Green Image Golfscapes. You can find Denny at greenimagegolfscapes.com. Phone number 612-804-9352 if you need to get a hold of him for all of your synthetic turf needs. So today's topic, Scotty, we talk a little bit about this. And Tone, we're sorry we didn't get this to you sooner, but we want to test you. We want you to know we have some things come up. And I did a podcast the other day with my buddy Brady Madsen, and this came up about dropping. And I thought Adam Scott cheated a few years ago when he won the Players on this. But it's not cheating. It's just different interpretation. So talk us through, first of all, we don't call it water hazards anymore, right? We now call them penalty areas. So talk us through a little bit of red stake, yellow stake, some dropping scenarios, and then I'm gonna throw a little something at you and see what you got after you explain that to us.
Okay. Yeah. No. So there's obviously 2 types of penalty areas. You got yellow and red. Yellow is going to give you 2 options. You got stroke and distance as your first option, which means you just go back to the last place that you played from. And you have, from that reference point where you last played, you have 1 club length relief area, and you drop from knee height. Your second option is going to be back on the line. So wherever your ball across the yellow penalty area, you take that point, take the point of the flag stick and draw a straight line going all the way back, and you can drop somewhere on that line, again, with your 1 club length relief. For a red penalty area, you will have a third option, which is lateral. So that's from the point that your ball entered, you have 2 club lengths. So you have a 2 club length relief area, and then you'll drop from knee height there as well. So that estimated point where it last crossed is basically, we can all kind of visualize. That's why it's good to have stakes out there on the course to kind of see what stake that it kind of was as the least closest to. So you get that point as close as possible. But that's kind of going to be the kind of the procedures for those 2 penalty areas.
Tone, does the terms direct and lateral, are they used much anymore in your guys' world, or?
Yeah, I mean, lateral is used for, kind of that red penalty area situation, lateral relief, but direct, I don't use too much.
All right. Scotty, you brought up something earlier about equidistance used to be a thing.
Yeah, that's gone now, right, Tone?
When you go on the opposite side, that's a model local rule that you can put into effect. I think it's like model local rule B2. I don't think many organizations, I know us at the PGA, we don't have it in our rules of play. It just at the time when they kind of were assessing the rules in 2019, it just wasn't used too often. I don't think a lot of players knew about it. So it's kind of just gone away, but it's still an option if the committee deems it necessary.
But you say, Tone, that the PGA Tour doesn't use that at all, right?
Us at the section, we don't use it. PGA
Section.
Tour, I would have to double check on that to give you a good answer.
But in the tape mark or state open, not an option, right? For us?
Not an option, no.
Okay, so Brady brought up this point, Tone. I said to him, you're playing against your buddies there down at Florida Gulf Coast, and they got like 8 really good players and only 5 travel. And so they have playoffs. I said, does anything interesting come up that you guys have to, kind of talk about? He goes, yeah. Where to drop? Of always the guy who hit it thinks it's 60 yards further than where some of us believe it is.
Yeah.
So how do you come up on a group, Tone? We got 2 guys that are saying here and here, 2 guys saying here. What does tournament director Tone do in this? Because you're looking for consensus, right? In the group?
Yeah, you would want, I mean, you would want group consensus, kind of on where the spot is. In a situation where you're going to have, conflict between players, that's why, it's as good to have the course as marked as, well as possible, like I said earlier with stakes. But if you don't have that situation, you're really going to have to come to an agreement with the players. And that just kind of comes down to kind of questioning, the player and then the other people in their group. And kind of that would give information. I mean, from my personal experience, I can't really say that I've had a situation where there's a 60-yard discrepancy, between players, but it's really trying to, drill down questions to them to figure out where that spot will be. Obviously on TV, you kind of have a different perspective when you watch on the tour, but it definitely does happen. I think you mentioned Adam Scott. I'm not too familiar with that situation, but I think, I think Tiger had a situation kind of like that too at the Players when, I don't know if it was the year he won. But he got, they thought that it was, again, 60 yards up or something like that. And it crossed way early. But that's kind of the rules say, estimated spot of the information that, at the time.
Who wins, Tone? Does the player win or does the guy, you know what I'm saying? You typically lean on the player, right? The player gets the final say, or, you come up and we got 2 guys arguing. Who do you believe?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's always, kind of comes down, to the players' information, kind of we mentioned in the last podcast, golf is, about playing it with integrity and, penalizing yourself as well, because you would want to be, treated fairly on the course for a penalty. If, that was someone else, you want to make sure that everything is on a equal playing level. So, you would probably trust, the player, but if there was a really big discrepancy there, you would definitely have to drill the player more in regards to getting information out there. So if, you and Scott were playing and Scott said he's 60 yards up and you were saying, Tone, there's no way that has happened. And, everybody else in the group said the same thing. Then you start, questioning it more.
Scotty, I've talked a lot. Go ahead, fire some stuff.
No, that's, I think that's the biggest thing because I remember that Tiger one. I don't remember the Adam Scott one, Tone. I remember that Tiger one. It was on the back 9, and I'm pretty sure that he got the relief further up, and they had like the perfect aerial overhead view, and it looked like it crossed it way back, and they gave it to him like 60 yards up, and he ended up winning. That was the year he won it.
Yeah.
So, it's just it's one of those things, and we go back to kind of your segment last time that we're on. It's all about integrity, and there's a certain code that we all sign up for playing this game, especially competitively, and live into that. And where you think it crossed, you expect that the player is living by that code and being honest with where they think it crossed the margin. So that's what I'd say.
That's fair assessment. And I think that's what we want to get at with doing these is we understand there's a lot of, the Kevin Dustin Johnson thing, it wasn't changing anything, but just kind of, come on, we can be better than that. And for those who don't know, Dustin Johnson gave himself a putt basically in the match play and even Kevin Na goes, it was this. I understand you're going to make it, but hey, dude, just let me. And then Kevin Na goes and beats him. First time, you guys, I found myself cheering for Kevin Na. Yeah,
No,
Tone, that stuff gets me going. That stuff is like, yes, Kevin Na, I'm on your team now. So I'm one of your biggest fans, Tone, because I understand that the rules they're there they're meant to be for fair play, and I don't think everybody sees it that way. That you should have fair play, and that's what you want at the end of the day. So.
No, I think, yeah. I mean, as anybody who's competing in an event, that's what you would expect. And, we talked about the last time, putting a penalty on yourself is hard, but hey, if that was your playing opponent or someone else, you would want them to do the same thing. So, the rules are there meant to be, followed and, make everything, everything equal. So I think it's a good thing.
Well, today's Knowing the Rules brought to you by Green Image Golfscapes, and our expert Tone Pulido brings in his knowledge to us. And again, if you're out there dealing with Tone, you guys be nice to him. He's not trying to hurt you. Scotty, I want you to remember that because something might come up at the tape mark.
Tone's always been straight with me. I've got no issues. I mean, it's Tone's just protecting the field and doing his job.
That's right. Well, Tone, we're going to bring you back for our last segment, so don't go anywhere, okay?
All right, I'll be ready.
Yeah, and we might have some questions on this next one. We're going to talk a little section tournament calendar, which obviously you're in charge of. But Scotty, this is where he shines, baby. You know that calendar. Do you literally just have that up as like your background? Is the tournament calendar?
I look at it quite a bit. I look at it quite a bit.
Because you are the one that goes, hey, did you see this change? Or did you see this is up? Or did you see that's going on? I'm like, no, I actually have a job. But yeah.
Well, and it goes back to your and I's background as being tournament committee chairs.
Yeah.
We kind of need to stay in the loop and being on the board too. I want to be abreast to new events that come up and people have questions about it. And what's this new Twin Cities Open about? I still get quite a few questions about it and my thoughts, but yeah, I think it's important for us to just stay on it. So yeah, let's jump in. I mean, I'd be lying if I said that I'm never on that section calendar. So I'm on it quite a bit. I've looked at that Twin Cities Open sign up to make sure it doesn't fill up because I just wanted to make sure that some things fell into place like I think that they should. And it sounds like they're going to. So yeah, what do you want to hit on? What events?
Well, Scotty, I think we should hit on the four ball doesn't have as many as normal, which is that Luther. I shouldn't say the four ball team that takes a little bit, but I always thought that Luther, that first four ball event with the Luther Pro Series fills up like that. But me and Jack Worrell signed up yesterday, and I think there's only like 12 or 14 teams on there. We usually fill up. So let's go, huh?
Yeah, I think we got to spread the word on that. But I also think that's just an indicator. These early openings hurt the turnout for that because we're just jumping into it. Whereas if we're not golfing until end of April, for some people, this Luther 1 might be their first event of the year some years, right?
For sure.
So I think just let's spread the word, and it's just one day. And I think it also is tied in with our spring meeting, whatever we're going to be doing, depending on COVID restrictions, right? Yeah. That's a fact. That's for the fact check team. The fact check can look into that. But that's another thing that you can get some points probably that morning. I'm not sure if we're having education tied in with that. I'm sure we'll find out on the next board meeting.
Kailey maybe has something on that. I thought there was some talk, but maybe something we can't share here. I'm not sure. But Kailey, if you got something, jump in at any point in regards to there was going to be something before that. And it's at Olympic, which I would think by now, the last time I played there, Scotty, was like 3 or 4 years ago. I think things have softened up a little bit out there. You know how firm it was that first year? I haven't played it since.
It's gotten, we had this there 2 years ago.
Okay, I missed that one. Yeah.
I'm telling you, unbelievable. I think it's in my top 5 in the Twin Cities after all the work has been done. It's the turf is really, really good. The layout's super strong. They've put a lot of money into it, and yeah, it's really good. Tone, what's the story?
Yeah.
All right. So May 3rd, Olympic Hills. We're still finalizing all details, but there will be obviously golf's at 1:00, but beforehand there will be our spring meeting there, spring meeting education. I believe it starts around 8:30. I'll probably go around till 11:30, 11:45. So it's going to be a hybrid model, I believe, in person and then also available online. And then we'll have, if you're there, we'll have golf at 1:00. That's Luther number 1. The event, sign up is steady, but, I think kind of once it gets a little closer, we'll see the spike up of everybody kind of getting signed up there. Historically that event is always filled up to that 120 number. So, I think just as it gets a little closer, we won't have a problem there. And then after play, we'll have kind of, award ceremony and everything. So it should be a good day if you can attend.
Beautiful. Scotty, next topic is your favorite. You love to hit this match play. The individual thing on May 10th, I believe that's the following week.
Yes. So
what you got to say, buddy?
It's been an event that we worked really, really hard and struggled with participation up until 2 years ago when we made the change to, instead of having it 3 days in a row where it's, as you've alluded to with the tape mark, for example, it's tough for you to block off 3 days in a row. So now it's just one day you got to take off. It's a Monday, it's in May, and you might play 36 holes or more if you go to extra holes. But first 2 rounds are completed. Then we get to our quote unquote Sweet 16. And then it's season long. You play your Sweet 16 match and your Elite 8 match. And then the final 4 come back, I believe, to Mendakota for the semifinal and championship. So it's only one day. It's something that it is members only. It's one of the, at this point, it's currently members only. If we don't get the 64 members, those associates that would like to play get a chance to play. But I will say last year we had over 70 members sign up. So yeah, we had a bunch on the wait list. And actually JD was one of them that got in the field, and he stepped down because he felt bad that he took somebody's spot. So let's get to 64 again. Instead of being season long, all 64 like last year from COVID, we'll have 2 rounds at Mendakota, which is a great venue. I hope Dale Jones, our section champion, is signed up. He's probably got a pretty good chance there. And you cannot play. I know I'm not going to hold it against you because you're playing in the Twin Cities Open. But yeah, a big event. I think it's a great event.
Yeah, I'm coaching golf, and that's our conference championship date is the 10th, and it just probably wouldn't be right. So, all right, that's kind of our section tournament calendar, Scotty. We don't got a lot of time left, so I have to hit this last one, which we do predictions and closing. Tone, I need you to come back on.
What about Kailey? Should we bring her on for predictions if she's feeling well enough?
Kailey, do you want to do some Masters predictions with us?
This might be a little interesting, but I'll jump on.
Okay. I didn't plan on 4. This is a curveball from Scott.
Here's the perfect curveball. We'll let Kailey pick first, and we can't pick any of the same people.
Scott, you don't even know what I'm doing here. You're just jumping out in front. You just got to back up for a second. Okay, buddy? All right.
So as the rookie of the group, I'm going to take Dustin Johnson.
Okay. I'll give you the first pick, but we have some ground rules first before we get at it.
Okay.
And so Scott's going to give up his chance at first pick. So we're going to go a couple rounds here real fast, Masters. You're going to do your top American, your top European, and your top other, and you can't pick what somebody else does. And we'll have this for the next podcast. So Kailey, We'll start with top American, and we will give you Dustin Johnson. Tone, we'll go next to you. Top American.
I'd say Justin Thomas.
Well, there goes my pick. Thank you, Justin Thomas. All right, Scotty, you get the next pick.
Top American.
Yeah, do I need to repeat it? I mean, what is this, Family Feud where he repeats the question every time he gets to a new person?
You gonna give me a kiss too, like Richard Dawson?
You cannot take Dustin or Justin.
Okay, I'm looking at the list right now.
You guys.
I'm going Xander Schauffele.
Xander, nice pick. I'm surprised you didn't take who I have to take now, Jordan Spieth.
You didn't need to take him. You could have picked. Nobody picked Bryson.
Nobody likes him. All right, let's move on to the top European. Tone Pulido, you get the first pick.
Are we doing European or the rest of the world?
No, we're doing European. The last one's going to be the rest of the world.
Oh, okay.
Just relax. See, I had it dialed up to 3 people. Sorry, Kailey, I didn't mean to exclude you.
I know. Now I'm looking at my list. Like, I don't know who's who.
Exactly. We'll tell you if they're legal or not legal. Tone, top European. Now, the eligibility is they have to be eligible to play in the team European Ryder Cup team. So that include Italy, Sweden, you name it. All right, go ahead.
Tommy Fleetwood.
Fleetwood Mac. Scott, your pick.
Gonna go with a guy that has a ripstick. Paul Casey.
Oh, good. You didn't take my guy. Justin Rose for me. And Kailey, who do you got left?
Well, so here's where I'm at fault is because I only know Rory as another European guy. But lately,
that's a great.
Is he doing that? Is he doing that well?
No, he hasn't.
But he needs it.
But he needs the major.
He needs it for the Grand Slam.
Okay.
Rory it is. All right. All right. Now top other Scott.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Top other. Going with the guy. Let's see. Hideki Matsuyama.
Matsuyama, okay. Not playing well right now either, but I'm going to skip. I'm going to go last because I feel bad. There's only like 12 others.
You make up rules.
No, I want to give other people their chance. I feel like I came up with this. I don't want to cheat. I want to do right. So, Kailey, your pick is next. Top other.
I'm pretty sure this guy's an Aussie, but Adam Scott.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's a good pick. I call him a cheater in the last segment, but he's not. He just dropped up on the green. When you look
you're also the guy that would drop 60 yards up as you're making up rules to this game.
All right, Tone, your pick.
I had to look up the list, but I'm going to say Abraham answered.
Dang it. That was my pick. And I kid you not, I have it right. Let's see if we can zoom in for Greg Snow. Answer right there.
Yeah.
I have to now take it off. And I will go with, you guys should have picked him because he's also very good in these, Leishman.
Oh, the leash.
Yeah. I don't even know. Is he playing in it?
He might not, Greg. He might not be even playing. Hang on.
He's got to be.
I see him on the list here.
Yeah, he's
160 to 1, Greg.
He finished tie last year. He's a very good player. All right, we got our picks. We're going to talk about those, and the winner gets somebody. We have to buy the winner coffee. That's all we're playing for is like a coffee or something when we see each other at maybe the Twin Cities Open if Scott signs up.
Sounds good.
It will be total under par. I made up that rule.
Of our team. Yeah, you just made that rule up.
I just made it up, which is what I do. Scott, you can do the U.S. Open next, okay? You can do whatever you want to do, but I thought this would be kind of fun. It's a Ryder Cup year. It's a big deal. So, Kailey, Tone, thank you so much for helping us today. Before you jumped on, Scott, I gave Kailey a little assignment about maybe adding a little more music. Didn't you like that on the last one?
Yeah, I liked the start. That was fun. It was interesting. I think, can we get like licensed songs? Like Cher, If I Could Turn Back Time or something like that?
Probably would. I don't know.
Dream big. We'll work. We like big dreams here.
This is better than Scotty singing because we sang some stuff. If you guys ever watched any of the past ones, so this is much better. But thank you guys for helping us today. Scotty, great work as always. And this will close out for episode 2, season 4, Club Pro Chatter. Check us out on where, Kailey?
Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube.
Boom. I will see you guys all at Luther 1 Olympic.
No, we'll see you in a couple of weeks when we call you out for your terrible picks.
Actually, April 18th, I'm going to see you, Scott, because you're coming to play in the Sunday game here in Olivia. So just so you know, I'm your agent. You're putting that on your calendar. You're coming to play.
Good night and good luck.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.